now at $1,600. Is there any advance at $1,600?
Hello, I'm Rick Stattler. I'm the Americana specialist here at Swann Auction Galleries, and I'm here to show you a few of the highlights from our June 5th printed in manuscript Americana sale. This is a large sale. We've got 475 lots broken into 2 sessions. We'll be covering a lot of ground in this sale, ranging from Latin American books and manuscripts, material on the American Revolution and especially the Civil War, Texas and the Mexican War, and many, many other lots that just defy categorization. As is our long-standing tradition here at Swann Auction Galleries, we'll start with lot number 1. This is an original partnership agreement signed by Ethan Allen, the great revolutionary leader of the Green Mountain Boys. In 1762, Allen was a young farmer in western Connecticut and became interested in the local iron industry. With 3 other partners, he here agrees to, quote, build a furnace to run iron ore into pig metal on a stream and nigh by an ironworks in ye west part of said Salisbury. We can see Allen's signature here on the bottom right corner. The partnership, known as Salisbury Furnace, had a rough time getting established due in part to Allen's rowdy personality. Salisbury Furnace was later converted to cannon production under other owners, and it churned out hundreds of cannons as one of the most important American industrial sites of the American Revolution. The site is operated today as the Salisbury Cannon Museum in Lakeville, Connecticut. So this would be an important document even if Ethan Allen had nothing to do with it. Skipping ahead to lot 50, this is the famous Aitken Bible, the first complete English language Bible published in America. Before the Revolution, the Crown had very tight control over who was permitted to publish the standard King James translation of the Bible, and no patent was granted to any of the printers in the colonies. Once the Revolution was in progress, Americans had difficulty importing Bibles. Robert Aitken, a Philadelphia printer, came out with a New Testament in 1777, which went through 4 editions. When his Old Testament was ready for press in 1782, his efforts received the special endorsement of a congressional committee. It was issued along with Aitken's 1781 edition of the New Testament, usually as 2 volumes. So that's why you see 2 different publication dates. They're sometimes bound together, as with this copy. The effort was historically significant, but it was a financial disappointment, and only a few dozen of these Bibles are known to survive today. This is just one of several Bibles that we have in this Americana sale. We've got the first Bible published in New Jersey. We've got a Bible in German with the family register of the Studebaker family, the car people, a Bible in Hawaiian, and even a Bible in Micmac. Lot 90 is one of Clara Barton's Rolls of Missing Men, dated the 1st of June, 1865. At first glance, it just looks like a mundane list of soldiers, but it has a very heartbreaking story behind it. During the Civil War, it was impossible to keep track of all of the missing and captured soldiers. So when the war ended, the families waited for their loved ones to come home, and sometimes they just never came. Frantic mothers had to play detective, trying to learn through word of mouth if anyone remembered seeing their son in a prisoner of war camp or deserting or dead on the battlefield. Into this mess stepped the famous nurse Clara Barton, who volunteered her time to set up a clearinghouse for these requests, and interviewed soldiers coming home from the notorious prisons. As part of this effort, she published several lists of missing soldiers organized by home state, hoping that these cases might be closed for better or for worse. So people would see these lists posted in town hall or post office or something, and say, hey, I know what happened to that soldier. I saw him in prisoner of war camp, and he didn't look like he was doing very well. They'd write her in with the results, and then another list would come out with some of the soldiers removed after their fates had been determined, and other soldiers added as queries continued to come into her office. Much of what we know about these prison deaths comes from Barton's efforts. These lists are extremely scarce today. We've tracked down copies in only 3 libraries. The sale is also rich in other Civil War material. We have Civil War letters and diaries and numerous books as well for the Civil War aficionado. This is Lot 131. It's an archive of 19 letters to General George Armstrong Custer concerning his famous horses and hunting dogs, all from his own files. Until his death at Little Bighorn, Custer was perhaps best known for his famous collection of racehorses and hunting dogs. There's a telegram in this collection from the circus promoter P.T. Barnum saying Custer's hounds have been received safely. Other letters talk about breeding colts by Custer's famous horse Don Juan, and buying military horses from the government. One 1866 letter from a horse breeder includes a business proposition for Custer. Quote, "I will make you worth $10,000, and you can keep on hunting Indians and buffaloes as much as you like, and I will come and help you occasionally kill buffaloes." In another letter he adds, "The people are anxious to see the general ride Don Juan at the fair, or any other horse. They wish only to see you ride." Now we come to lot 141. This is pretty much the star of the show. This is the earliest facsimile of the Declaration of Independence, engraved by William J. Stone by order of Congress in 1823 and printed on paper. Just 200 of these were printed on vellum and distributed to cabinet officials, governors, and universities. Only about 3 dozen vellum copies survive today, plus a small number of additional copies which were printed on paper like this one. We've only tracked 2 other copies on paper at auction. When you combine this kind of rarity with a document of such great importance, you have a cornerstone of Americana collecting. The easiest way to identify an authentic stone printing is the imprint line, which appears in small type in the top corners. Engraved by W. J. Stone for the Department of State by order of J. Q. Adams, 4 July 1823. Later impressions made from this plate erased that line and put a similar one in the bottom left corner. You can get an idea of the painstaking detail involved in the original engraving from this close-up of the C from the first line. While countless reproductions have been made over the years, the exact pattern of cross-hatching in these letters is almost like a fingerprint. This copy has an unusual provenance, arriving here from the unlikely location of Argentina. According to family tradition, it was given to Juan Manuel de Rosas, the governor of Buenos Aires, by the United States ambassador, who happened to be a friend of John Quincy Adams. The declaration went with de Rosas when he went into exile in England, and then it was later brought back to Argentina by family members, where it has been for the past century. Where it goes next will be decided on June 5th. Next we have lot 191. This is a plat map drawn by the famous railroad baron Jay Gould when he was a small-town surveyor in Roxbury, New York, on the northern end of the Catskill Mountains in the 1850s. Gould later made a fortune in railroad investments and was a close associate of Tammany Hall figures Boss Tweed and Jim Fisk. He is perhaps most famous for an effort to corner the world gold market with his crony Fisk in 1869. Not much has survived from Gould's humble early years, making this piece of particular interest. It's stamped in the corner, J. Gould, Roxbury, Delaware County. Roxbury is a quite beautiful town today, thanks in large part to the Gould fortune. We're also offering 5 other lots relating to Gould and his career in this sale, including testimony and correspondence relating to Gould's railroad takeovers.